Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, girls, boys, everybody. It's my honor, really, to be standing in front of you. Meaning, I'm born in Assam. I was born in Jorhat. I studied in Guwahati in Cotton College and in Guwahati University. I did my law, which I didn't complete. And I started my work life here in Assam, way back in 1978. So for all of you, please remember, I'm not your role model, but I have made very humble contributions for the growth and development of Northeast India. But first, let me thank all the teachers that have taught me, all of you teachers who are teachers in your own right. And the biggest teacher is Mr. Pansari, because he's taught us entrepreneurship. Had he not brought Royal Global, the teachers wouldn't be able to teach. So a big round of applause to Mr. Pansari and the teachers. My colleagues actually did a full speech for me. I'm not a great speech reader, and whatever they do across, I normally go around changing it. Ideally, what I want to do is to ask y'all to ask me questions. And ideally, if you came up on stage and we had an interactive session, which I will do later, obviously today's format is different, I will be very happy to give you guidance as to what the future is. I was just talking to Mr. Pansari, and he was suggesting that why don't we talk about the future? I'll talk about the future and I'll tell you where my privilege and honor to be an advisor to the board of Royal Global will come to possible use. It'll be. And the idea is all of us need to have fun. There are three things all of you just remember, all, small, young, all of you here. There are three things that guide most principles. One is knowledge. Two is everybody needs a little bit of money. Without that, you can't do anything. For that, you need knowledge and wisdom. And the last is you have to have fun. If you don't have fun and passion, you can't do it. This university is out of a passion of Mr. Pansari. In the bargain, there's knowledge. In the bargain, there's a little bit of money. And in the bargain, there is education. So without that passion, you can't do it. And remember, everywhere you must smile. And I feel very sad when everybody is so serious looking at me. You smile now because the whole idea is that. And just to let you know, on the 13th of November this year, I started an initiative in 2003 under the aegis and leadership of Mr. Tarun Gogoi. I brought people from the US. And we started a thing called Operation Smile. It's for cleft palate. There are many of us, we are so privileged to be here. But there are many of us are not privileged to be here because of disability. It's called being abled differently. It's called differently abled people. So those cleft palate people were incredibly challenged because of the family. And actually back home, they really had a big problem of social acceptance because they were never included by all of us because human beings can be cruel. As students, as young person, me myself. So on 13th of November, you all will be very happy to know that Operation Smile, now Mission Smile in India, of which I was one of the founders with the blessings of so many doctors and so many teachers. We are going to do 25,000 operations have been done. So we have given 25,000 people a smile, where people like you must come and volunteer. Think of the future. Think of what you're going to give back to society. And what I like about this institute, they're always thinking of what do you give back to society when you actually take from it. Taking from society is taking from you. But taking from you for you to give back to society. So one of the things I learned in my early years, when we did this 25,000 operations, Mr. Tarun Gogoi said it is impossible. One operation was 85,000. So we re-engineered the product. And lo and behold, the health minister at that time was nobody else but our Chief Minister, Himanta Biswa Sharma. So between the Chief Minister today, the Chief Minister then, and nobody except me and my team, we created this whole organization in Guwahati Medical College and made this the world capital for innovation. So we re-engineered 85,000, and today it is 18,000 rupees. And the globe, including China, copies us. So innovation, creating global institutes like the Royal Global is something that we all can do. You don't have to be in Bangalore or in Columbia or Berkeley or in London to do it. So all of you must put in your minds that all of you are actually fountains of innovation. And innovation is actually not doing the same thing differently, but doing things differently. So for example, I launched the first cell phone in India, 15th of September 1995. I was very privileged. I was working for the Hutchison Group. Analjit Singh was the Indian partner, Max Group. When we launched that first phone on 15th of September, we did it in Bombay, for any of you who haven't seen it, in one of the tall buildings. And we launched it. And everybody told me, ये phone नहीं चलने वाला है. ये phone केতিয়াओ काम न होय. कारण है, इमान दामत कुने मानु किनिबो. The phone then was 35,000 rupees. And per minute was 16 rupees 25. Look at what innovation has done. The same companies make same profit with minute cost at less than 50 paisa, and the phone is available at 2,000. Look at what innovation does. But look at what innovation is better. That has made the post office redundant. Today, everybody wants a phone. All you children who are younger are dying to get a phone because you like SMS. That is the only way of communication. Without this SMS and phone, we are all dead. Or WhatsApp. We basically were saying that reinvented the postal system. So today, how many people actually write a Christmas card in Christmas or New Year's? Very few. Today, everything to do in youthful happiness, when you all are exchanging notes with your friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, you send a WhatsApp. So look at how life actually has changed from writing a letter to actually moving this. That is called innovation. We're still communicating, that's the basic thing, but the innovation was actually to be done from that. So I think it is very important to understand that all of you people, Royal Global is providing you the best campus. I have not seen as good a campus. I've actually worked in many campuses across the world. This is one of the best. When you come in, you have a feeling that you have peace. If you have peace, you can learn. And if you learn, you have wisdom. And if you have wisdom, you get knowledge. And if you get knowledge, you get money. And then you get fun. Money and fun are different things, by the way. But anyway, I just think it is very important for all of you to reimagine yourselves and think that you all are in the best place on earth. And that after this, I know it's very difficult when you're young to know that you're in the best place of earth. When you go out of school, after 10 years, when you're the alumni, you'll come back and say, really, my school, this was too good. I was privileged. When we started the journey of 25,000 Operation Smile journey, we never thought that we could do 25,000. But a little spark was there. And continuously, while governments have changed, the one person who supported us through this change, even though he was not in governance, was actually the current chief minister. So he changed parties, we didn't change. He changed the situation, we didn't change. We continued with this focus across from 2002, a dream that was set up by a leadership of Assam and a leadership of India. We are now the capital of cleft learning in the world. To which they have asked me and my colleague in China, in Singapore, we are now the global chairman, co-chairman. When they made me the chairperson, I said, look, boss, I can't do this alone. So we got this Chinese guy, Vincent Yeo. He's a doctor in Singapore, one of the leading plastic surgeons, the leading. He basically, and we have the privilege of running the world for cleft. So I went to China many times, Philippines, Malaysia, Burma, through the problems. And we have started a whole revolution based on what they call the Assam model. So the Assam model actually is what we are doing. I really believe that we must understand that everything is possible, provided you do. If Royal Global is possible, if 25,000 operations is possible, then everything is possible. When I first fought with my shareholders to bring IPL here, and that is not my qualification, chairman of IPL, no. I'm a change maker. I want to be known as that. I want to be known as a person who's contributed to society. Meaning the day people introduce me as a society contributor, then I say, without being a politician, then I say that, look, that is what has given me the reward. When I get rewarded by saying, this change maker has done education, healthcare, sport, business, and entrepreneurship, then I will say that I have actually achieved my goal of not being recognized by getting your support to achieve all the other social delivery items. So it is key to understand that in IPL, it was impossible to get it because Guwahati is not known by all my other partners who are global partners. We are the only IPL franchise which is globally owned. Our headquarters are not in India. No other franchise is globally owned. And I was the first shareholder when we made the bid. And I was very privileged. Over time, we have diluted our shares, at least I have, but I still am the executive chairman. And we've gone into a lot of controversy. If you go into the net, you'll see we've been riddled with controversy. But we required passion and patience. You'll have to go wrong to go. So don't worry about that. So passion is the first P. The other second P is patience. I'm giving these examples so that people can actually collate with both these things so that we can understand where we are going and where we've come from. So it is important that I had to fight to get IPL. And look at IPL, at least now we've produced an Indian cricketer. And who's your ambassador? Rian Parag. So Rian is of your age. Rian is your person. Rian is ours. Rian is Indian. Rian is international. So where can you get this? You get a situation where somebody has to do something and take the risk. We actually lost money by coming here, but we invested. For 5 terms, Rian, he did not do as well as he should have. And in those 5 terms, he transformed, and today he was the second largest run scorer in the last IPL. It's unimaginable what he has done. But 5 years we had patience, 5 years we had passion, 5 years we invested in him. So the third thing is to identify people, the third P. So there's entire thing of patience, entire thing of people and passion. If you do not have that, you must understand it, you must identify your right people. And today being Teachers' Day, you're in your own minds, most of us at this age have our parents as our role model, and they are our teachers, and rightly so. So the whole idea is that as you go along in life, you'll have new parenting. Your college, your university, your teachers, your friends, your captains. The idea is to identify this kind of leadership, which will help you to find gurus and teachers as you go along in life. They must be touchable, feelable, and understandable. Not that you have a theory. It's okay to say that Einstein is a great guy, but who's Einstein? So if you think of his photograph and this and that, it's not relatable unless you studied in Imperial College and unless all of us have been exposed to physics. So it's not possible to actually understand who Einstein is. But it's possible to understand who Dr. Pansari is. Because he's made this institute, you see him, he's given you a home. So I'm only giving his example not only in praise of Dr. Pansari, but it's easily touchable, feelable, seeable, what you all are doing in front of your eyes. So it is always good to have kind of leadership which will relate to. The last is not a P, it's called loyalty. You must, you must always show gratitude. If you don't, that's the last G of the 3 Ps, is that if you don't have gratitude for who taught you, who gave you this, you will not actually make a great citizen. So you must actually have gratitude in the fundamental of whatever you learn. The whole purpose of education is actually to learn these 4 things, from passion to gratitude. And once you know that, meaning why do you need to actually worry about the world? You'll make mistakes, you'll go wrong, but you'll have patience, you'll have passion, you'll have gratitude. So you will not be so you don't need to go into any business formula to understand what makes success. Success is built by these 4 things. You can add to that list another 100 things, but that's been my kind of guiding principle so far. I'm not saying I'm successful, but definitely I'm not unsuccessful. So I think that's the part that I want to actually highlight. Let me tell you where the world is today. I just take you through 3 slides. It's boring actually to go through slides. But I'll take you through 3 slides to tell you, I think this is for the teachers, professors, founders, entrepreneurs. These 3 slides, I think, are very important to know where we are. All organizations, including Royal Global, has a plan. It may not have started with such a big plan. Then the plan happens. Then you say, this is the students I want. Now, Dr. Pansari in the earlier statement said he wants 50,000 people to be represented in Indian society to work and contribute. I'm sure he'll have more than 50,000 in the next 10 years. So, good wishes. The whole idea of this is to know where you're going. If Dr. Pansari and his team and his son and his family know that, okay, someday Berkeley University is 150 years old. When they started it, they had a dream. I think that dream is what we are talking about. You have to dream. If you don't dream, if you don't put castles in the air, how can you put it on the ground? You have to dream. You have to have castles in the air. Everybody has castles in the air. All of us dream today, somebody to eat chow, somebody to have food, somebody to buy a book, somebody to do a movie. Everybody has to have dreams. We all dare to dream. You know, Mr. Oberoi wrote a very good book, and I'd urge all of you to read it. It's called I Dare to Dream. He made the best. If you go to anywhere in the world, you'll still not get a hotel as good as Oberoi, maybe Taj. But I'm saying you go to Oberoi and you see what they do. They really pamper you. And Mr. M.S. Oberoi, he started it. He said, I dare to dream. How did he start? He used to go in Simla to buy vegetables, to see that nobody put water in it, to see that the quality is good. He said, people who stay here must come back for my food other than the stay. So I dare to dream. You know, that small things are there. So all of you children, all of you teachers must dare to dream. So everybody has to have that dream to say where it is. I have a dream. And my dream is to show you where the world is going to go. And my dream may be wrong, but at least it's a dream. I am not asking anybody to follow my dream. I'm asking you to create your own dreams based on this format. If you really look at it, there are 4 or 5 phases that we've all gone through. All our parents, all, there's nobody an exception. In 1700, everybody was in agriculture. There was nobody not in agriculture. From agriculture came money lending, from agriculture came all the things of trade, which is through exchange. So actually, if you look at it, we started with agriculture. All of you should be very proud that your backgrounds, your great-grandfathers, great-great-grandfathers were all in agriculture. From agriculture, when it was happening, people started getting a little more ambitious. So there was a guy called R.L. Stephenson. R.L. Stephenson is the person who discovered the steam engine. So the steam engine was actually to take the steam faster. Why? Because he said economics is about taking agriculture and getting it to the consumer faster. So the mantra became better, brighter, faster, cheaper. Cheaper is the economic bit. Better, brighter, faster, cheaper. The moment you got goods and services better, brighter, faster, cheaper, it became much more interesting for people to say that that is economics. That was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, of which we are all part of it. Some of us are at the end of it, some of us at the beginning. From there, we went on to the Technology Revolution, which is about IT. So you had industry, which tea gardens are still in that phase of Industrial Revolution, old-fashioned, indentured labor. Malik is sitting somewhere in Guwahati, Jorat, or in Calcutta, or in England. This is all outdated. That industry cannot last. They will keep talking about pricing. That's a dead industry. That industry has a big problem. But there are people employed, there are 3 million. We all must work to reinvent it. And that is what our jobs are, to see that an industry like that, how do we put life in it? And people are trying different attempts. Government and governance can only give you one thing. But finally, we need to be innovative to solve such a big crisis. 6 million people, our biggest earner, the turnover of 20,000 crores, that is the industry. And we are saying that it is not doing well. People say, they do notes every time, it's not. So how do we innovate? So that agriculture university, that agriculture started in before 1700, is still carrying on with industrial revolution. 1835 is when the first tea garden started with machines. From there it went on to technology, which is computers. All of us are computing today. All of us know how to do computers. If not, the computer is in your hand. Your mobile phone is your computer today. You can do everything from your mobile phone. So I think we must know that there's a transition that has happened to technology. So now there's a combination of agriculture, industry, and technology all in one. And what really happens is, when you look at it, this kind of delivery is very important to understand where you children are, where the teachers are, that how do we reteach and how do we relearn ourselves to combine these three to make it not agriculture or not to technology. Therefore, you have digital. So now we are at the cusp of the digital revolution. So technology, then digital. In digital, we are in that part where machine learning, AI, these are the words that are buzzing around now. So what do you do with that, and how does it help the first three quadrants? Because we still need food, we still need agriculture, we still need technology to process, we still need the entire process of the technology, which is the computing, and we need, how do we take it forward to the digitization? What does digitization do? From digitization, you go into the next sphere of learning, which is a very important sphere. And that sphere is, we will achieve everything by this part, the ecological revolution. We call it the nature-nomics revolution. It's a word invented in Assam, by the way, in Balipara. Nature-nomics means interdependence between nature and economics. It's not complicated. We believe that is the direction. All students, all academies must gear themselves up towards doing this kind of revolution. We have a forum every year, and this year I will announce now, subject to Royal Global accepting it. We'll have part of the forum in Royal Global University so that students can see what we do this forum. This forum has a completely global impact. It has global people. And this forum is handling what is called the third pole. You see, just as much as we did Royal Global or the Cleft Palette or the entire thing of nature-nomics, we are talking about the third pole. And for all of you, even if you all are bored of my lecture, please listen to this, because this pertains to all of you. This pertains to the future. The third pole is nothing but from the Pamirs. Most of you have not heard of the Pamirs, but go into your geography, Pamir, right up to Malaysia, from China to India. If you look at it, all the global snows, ice, melts of land is there. There's a North Pole, there's a South Pole, and this third pole. We have to make that third pole a reality. Why? 1.4 billion people are in China, 1.4 billion people are in India. Roughly that's 3 billion people, 2.8 billion. There is Bangladesh, and there's the entire ASEAN countries, there's the entire Pakistan, and that side, which is from the Pamirs. There is more than half the world, more than 4.2 billion people dependent on the water and reserves here. If this goes, it's a bigger problem than if the North Pole melts or the South Pole melts. And people worry that there is a problem. We are not addressing the problem. This is a geopolitical problem. This has nothing to do with wars and guns. This is about peace, one world above us, one sky above us. Imagine all the world are one. This is a Beatles song which I learned when I was very young, just to tell you all that I'm not totally outdated, but outdated in my music. So I'm just trying to tell you that it's very important that you understand this third pole. We're doing it in Taj. We invite all of you to come at different sessions. We've got very interesting people, and we've got corporates. And the corporates are the people that will give you the future. So we've managed to get Unilever, Tata Computers, we've got PepsiCo and Coca-Cola. All four are going to talk about a very important issue. The most important thing in this is they are going to talk about waste management. Last week, the chairman of Unilever had a lunch for me, not because I was great. They just wanted to make more profit, which is right. Nothing wrong with that. So they called me to talk about the third pole. So I said, You guys are contributing the maximum waste. And what is that maximum waste? That maximum waste is plastic. Plastic is choking the rivers, plastic is choking the sea. If you look at the whales, they're eating plastic. The whales are poisoning. Everything in the world is getting poisoned, and plastic is one of the main things. Waste is one of the main things. Plastic is only a byproduct. They are going to have this most interesting session on waste. I was thinking, just on my feet, I have to ask my team. I often, as an entrepreneur, you make commitments and then you have to sometimes withdraw. You know how it is, Mr. Bhansari. You say, "Ha, kar lega." But then, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe the waste session should be here, but I'm not sure. But because if I can get all these students and young people to know what is this waste, what is Unilever doing to manage waste? And just to tell you, last year, this IPL, we were the first waste-neutral IPL. It's still not perfect, even though the certification is there. It was not a good certification. We got a waste management company from the West, and from Bombay, to come and pick up all the waste after the matches and before the matches, all the plastic and all, and convert it and sell it. Waste is the new wealth. Anybody who goes into the waste business should think about the new wealth. What is the new wealth? The new wealth is what you're going to do with waste and actually make the world better and make the world even more interesting. Can I have the first movie? I've got 3 short movies so that you don't get bored of my voice. Can I have the first movie? Neetu. Somebody putting on the movie? This addresses all your concerns.
Maybe you're not certain. Most people aren't. Makes you feel like you have to be like everybody else. But do you have to limit yourself to be just one thing? Be a beginner one day and an expert the next. Start asking questions and never stop looking for the answers. Learn things you'll always remember and meet people you'll never forget. Dare to be yourself and feel like you belong. Be here and there, make a difference on your own, and never stand alone. Be part-time, full-time, and maybe stay for a lifetime. Be your true self here and now. And discover who you want to be tomorrow.
Be yourself. The whole purpose of that is to tell you, think for yourself and be yourself. Express yourself. Because if you don't express it, and I try to choose something which would be relevant to my grandchildren, and all of you are that age, to understand how do you be yourself. Royal Global provides you that opportunity to be yourself. I think the next slide, please. So if you look at it, there are only 6 things I've tried to make easy for you, so that as the founder and chairperson of your institute said, he wants to make it net zero. There's more than net zero. And I just think, what do you do? Hello? Can we go back? Yeah. There's land, there's energy, there's waste, there's water, there's air and carbon. This is something I actually believe in and I practice. So all of you are invited to what I have done as an experimental tourism center in Balipara. It's called Wild Marshir, if some of you haven't been. So you have seen how much forest there is and water is pure. Everything that we do is actually pertaining to that. In fact, I'm a great proponent of vegetarianism. I know that Northeast, we're not very fond of it. So whether it is pigs or whether it's chicken or whatever, we eat a lot of that. But I think, finally, the carbon footprint, the biggest carbon footprint is that of cows and sheep in the world. You forget cars and all that. People don't know. But people who don't know the subject will talk. So the biggest footprint is this cultivation of animals for food. And the biggest contributors, therefore, are from Australia to America to Europe. So it's a very serious matter. You can't change people's habits because we've moved from that forest agrarian stage where we were doing hunting, gathering, to this stage of doing. So it's not for us to change that, but how do we neutralize it? And what's the neutralization? We embarked on a program. It's called the Great People's Forest. And that is all over from Nepal to the north, Bhutan and Bangladesh for mangroves. We did two things. We renamed geography. We call it Himsagar. Himsagar, Him means snow, Sagar means sea. For people who don't know, because I know most of us just can't immediately understand what is Himalaya. So because I'm in the subject, because from small I was taught what is Himalaya. So Himsagar is actually Bhutan, Nepal, North Bengal, whole of Northeast. This is the new Himsagar. This Himsagar will show the world how do we, from snow line to sea line, help the third pole to save the planet. With that, I'll put you onto another slide, another short movie. I've got two more movies, one more and one more. And then I think I will end my speech.
What is a good life? And what do we want from our lives? People say it's the next generation that's going to solve our global challenges. The talent will figure out the imbalances.
And what if we could rebalance the statuses?
Be the voices that offer solutions to our climate crisis damages.
We're the next generation of hopefulness.
The next generation of openness.
Yet how do we do this without help?
We're the articulate ones, without the funds
Or the power.
To slow down the what is to becomes. Maybe we just need to stop for one quick second and reprioritize.
Reprioritise what we need to survive.
After all, we need to keep 1.5 alive. Imagine if this could be through how we work. After all, we're the generation that gets it.
Yet we need more jobs that respect this.
We're a generation to inspire doers, not delayers, and although system change has many layers,
Evolution doesn't just belong to us.
it starts with teachers, workers,
Employers and mayors.
The next generation is the now generation. We need green and just jobs for all, that give more than they take. To us, our cities and our planet, without delay.
I have the latest report on employment. Last year, the biggest sector that grew were green jobs in the area of energy, in the area of transportation, in the area of real estate. I will share that with the Vice Chancellor, and you should share it to all the students, where the jobs are going. It's important that you recalibrate, all the time think, you don't have to change your subject, but remember, there is a change happening. Remember your great-grandfather who was in agriculture, who came in a dhoti, did not have shoes, is today wearing shoes, that's you. Today doing computers, that he can't do. So this change we all have to embrace, and this change of green, whether you like it or not, we have to do it. Otherwise, we are all dead. I just want to leave 3 questions and then I'll open up the house if I have time. Is that you are leaders of tomorrow, each one in your small way, whether it's a family, whether it's in an institute, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it is running, sport. You leaders have to ask yourself, what do you want to be? And that's why I did the first video. The second video is saying, where is the world moving? The third is, if you are inventors and designers, you have to understand what is invention and design. And you should demand it, be yourself. You should ask your professors and teachers, what should I do? What should I innovate? If each one of you did, as a group, 5 of you all, did one innovation in writing, in reading, in singing, it doesn't have to be complicated. I think you all will create the revolution that there is, as much as 25,000 operations, Assamese doctors, Assamese nurses created that revolution, as much as Royal Global has been built by people locally and not by anybody else. People born here, people delivered here, people of the state. I'm one of those few people who have gone from Assam to Rajasthan. Most people from Rajasthan have come here. So I just want to tell you that I'm the only Assamese who has business in Rajasthan. So there's a reverse migration if you want to do. So the whole Rajasthan royal saga proved to me that not all people have to come to Assam. People can go from Assam to Rajasthan also. Last but not least, what do we do for tomorrow? How do we actually shape tomorrow? It's a session that I want to have, but I'll put on this small video again. Last video.
Economics means household management, and the question of how a household should manage its resources is more relevant today than ever. In ancient Greece, when the philosopher Xenophon first coined the term economics, he was literally thinking about the affairs of a single household. But towards the end of his life, he applied the question more widely to the management of his hometown, the city-state of Athens. 2,000 years later, in Scotland, Adam Smith looked to the next level up, the management of the nation as a household, asking what makes the economy of one country thrive while another stagnates. And this question has held sway for the past 200 years. So economic thinking has gone from the household to the city-state to the nation-state. It's time to take the inevitable next step. Ours is the era of the planetary household. And this century, we need some pretty insightful managers to guide our planetary household, ones who are ready to pay attention to the needs of all its inhabitants. Let's get to work.
Right. So I think that's the end of my speech. I think I'm done. This is the toughest part of whatever. But let me open this up and let me really, if there was a moving mic, I would have gone there out of respect for people who are talking. But if you all can ask me questions of any kind, anything, I will answer questions that I know, and the questions I don't know, I'll say I don't know. No, that's okay, now it's too late.
All right, so we now open the house for some questions. If you want to ask question, please raise your hand. But I know sir is being very humble because I had a whole list of all the places where sir is involved in. And I would like to take this opportunity to also inform you that he was instrumental in bringing TIS, Triple IIT, semiconductors, apart from the fact that we got to know he was instrumental in also bringing mobile phones to the country, Taj Vivanta, Tata Cancer Hospitals, to name only a few. A huge round of applause once again before we move on to the question answer. So the question.
Student asked me some questions. I've got away with just talking only.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Prithvi Agarwal from Royal School of Business. So my question was, sir, what are the values and beliefs you still carry on in terms which a mentor taught you in terms of decision making, which helped you throughout your life, which made you so successful?
See, I think it's a difficult question because there's a long answer. You have to go through life to understand that, to really give that answer. As I told you, the 3 Ps, passion is very important. And you have to have a plan. If you don't have a passion for something, if you don't have passion for football or cricket, how can you do it? So you need passion, then you need belief in yourself. If you have belief in yourself, which is the video that I gave you for you, if you don't have belief in yourself, you will not do it. And all of us at this stage are confused. It's quite natural. I'm still confused what I want to do. I took up an assignment. I do the Moran Blind School, the blind school. And one of my colleagues in the blind school said, why can't we do international football? I thought he was completely crazy. But he said, no, we'll do it, sir. There's a blind thing for India. The Moran Blind School are number 2 in Asia for football today. Blind people. So I'm saying these are things that you don't know that within, and all my work I try and do within here and in Rajasthan. I have a very big foundation called the Rajasthan Royal Foundation. And there we've done something with women because there is a big issue around women. And it's called Aurat Hai to Bharat Hai. So we coined the slogan, Aurat Hai to Bharat Hai. And it is absolutely, without women we can't go, without girls, boss, you guys must understand that is how important it became in Rajasthan, where the earlier chief minister, the current chief minister, all calls us now, ye gram mein aap zara Thakur sahab, ye kuch humko ye help kar do, ye ladies ka saath karke. So to answer your question, you need passion and you need focus and you need to know where you're going. That focus can only come with experience. There's no simple answer.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello, sir, of business. You mentioned that, sir, in 1978, you got your first job. Now you are at a stage where you contribute back to the society as much as you can. You're trying, and even for the future. So I want to ask you, sir, what changed? Like from working a job, what changed? Like what did you had to change so that you could reach here? And
You'll have to sit with me, and 50 years I'll tell you year by year.
So
I
you-
cannot tell you that in one answer, but let me try. I think it's very important that you have to go through, everybody has a pathway, and everybody's pathway is his own pathway. That movie that I showed you is very important. I would urge the management to circulate what my presentation and this to everybody. I think it's good learning for them, because I think they should see it again and again. And the Vice Chancellor, sir, if you can sort of look at it, head of academics, because I think education is about a totality of learning. Education is not the subject. The subject helps you, but actually education is a totality of ethics, belief, passion, all this together, which you cannot teach, it happens. So coming back from 78, I think the first few things that happened was I used to work in the tobacco industry. So now cigarettes are banned, so there's no job for me. So I'm saying that is one reason I fortunately went off to learn. But, in the tobacco industry, what I learned was the entire tobacco ecosystem of Northeast was held by people from Rajasthan. All our dealers and whole dealers were people from Marwar. And they taught me one thing, tenacity, patience. They lived through all the crises from British time till now. So much up, down, asu, sab, jitna hai na sab. They have survived. And now they thrive. And now they give back to society. So I think that giving back to society bit, I learned from them. I've got some dealers are still in touch with me in Rangia, then in, Shamlal ji was in Guwahati, then he's passed away, he's from Nazira. He was a good friend of Hiteswar Saikia, they were schooled together. So they taught me that you have to look after people. If you don't look after people, people will make you look after them. That is when the guns started. That is when there was anarchy. So the whole idea is that how do you give back to society regularly? You'll see these Marwaris, they give in their temple free food in Fancy Bazaar. I do not know now. But even in Rangia, even in Nalbari, I went and saw all these people. They used to always give. I used to go to their house and always eat that food. So I'm quite accustomed. For 2 years, I got trained by these people. Then I went to Bengal. Bengal was no different. They have the same ecosystem. I then realized that you have to be an entrepreneur with a heart. People think they don't have a heart. People say that is exploitative. Maybe. There are good and bad amongst good people. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn every day from who you meet and what you see. So the trick is that learn every day and say, okay, this ecosystem, how will it help me? Do I want to be a business people? If businessman, is not so easy, because you'll see me and say, I'll own a IPL team, or you'll go and say he's running in a good car. Not easy. It has been, for me, I used to go in a bus. So from Jorhat to Sipsagar, I went in a bus in 1978, in the morning at 6 o'clock. So I've had a rough time, meaning, do I want everybody to go through it? No. But I think if you go through it, it'll be good. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, just learn that you have to be passionate. You have to know what you're seeking for. You may not know, but it'll evolve. And you have to respect and learn from others. Learning is most important. Does that answer the question?
5-6 years. But my question is, why we Northeast states don't have an IPL team?
No. Why we don't have an IPL team is because we never had players. India has a population of 1.4 billion. Do you know what the Northeast population is? Only 4 billion. That's why football came. It was cheaper, because the entry price was cheaper. That's why it came. So 40 million people compared to 1.4 billion people is very different. So it's difficult. The economics of having a franchise does not work here. No other reason. You can't make money here. Even here, I told you the first year, we lost money. This is a big game. This is not a small game. Instead of that, if all you people came and joined the IPL and you all made good cricket, then it would be phenomenal to have people from the Northeast. I go to Aizawl, I go to Manipur, Mary Com and those people, I have helped to fund them through a foundation. So you have to go and look for talent. The talent will find a place in the IPL team. We should not think, suppose I thought that I'm an Assamese, I should remain in Assam because I can use my talent in Assam, then I will not go. But because I went overseas, I'm able to give back to society, to Assam. Think global. Royal Global University you are studying in, then think global. If you don't think global, you will get stuck here, thinking Assamese IPL team. Assamese IPL team eta korile ki labh hobo, muk koasun. Eta to Riyan Parag to Assamese team of howa nai noy. So you have to understand what is the ecosystem. So I will meet you again. I will show you the economics of that. If anybody in Assam collectively also can afford an IPL team, if they want to pay 8,000 crores, they are more than welcome. I'll get an IPL team. Okay, so no problem. Okay, so it's fun, money, fun. 40 million people yata say. 1.4 billion is India. Where will you get money in Bombay, Delhi? So, because the players have to be paid. The stadium has to be maintained. So a lot of the money is ecosystem. I'm not saying money is all, but it is important that you have economic value to any social value. Like somebody will say, Royal Global, why can't I study? I'll pay 5 rupees. It doesn't work like that, the world, yeah? So you want an IPL team, boss, you have to work for it. I worked, I was in debt. I sold everything. I gave my house, bondako disoto. So this is not easy. We must respect people who put up institutions. And you will be a great entrepreneur because you asked the right question. And we can have a private chat. Okay? Any other question?
Sir, right now there is a trend of entrepreneurship and startups, right? But in an Assamese society, there is this notion that we Assamese people are better suited for things like corporate or for government services. So my question to you is that right now also we have this notion that we should rather do jobs or try to get a government job. But at your time, how did you manage, or what made you start doing business instead of going for corporate, sticking with corporate jobs?
Well, this is a very good question, by the way, and this is a question that plagues the whole of the Northeast. Because all of we are still in that first phase of development. We are still in the agriculture revolution. You see, because we are from agriculture people, whether it's from Jorhat, Golaghat, Amarghat, Golaghaton. So all that is closest to agriculture. So you think like that. And the only job is a government job. You see, the more government jobs come, there are two things happen. Politicians start controlling you because they give you the job. And they're using my money to give you the job. Politicians are giving free rice, free this. You'll see, someday this will all come to an end. They cannot just give jobs at my cost. They have to give jobs which are relevant and what they are doing. So you asking for a government job, all of you please know that you are playing into the hand of politicians. You want to be a political animal, join politics. Don't get a scholarship from them for actually helping them. That's not required. They've got their own future. They've got their own minds. So I think that is one main reason why we have remained there, because these jobs come easy because it's a dole. We must not take this dole. We must be very clear. How I started is a very difficult question. I started in corporate India. I joined ITC. And I was there and I got transferred to the UK, BAT and all that. So that's a long story. You'll have to give me a coffee and then I can explain to you what that is. But it's a long journey. And then entrepreneurship, it did not come naturally to me. We are not entrepreneurs naturally as much as, there's a Professor Jain. I hope you know of him. He's from Tezpur. Professor Jain. Deepak. Yeah. So Deepak Jain, you see, was a friend of mine from Tezpur because the dealer there was a guy called S.B. Monihari Stores. So Lajju and all were my cigarette dealers. So that's how I met, meaning Jain, before he left. So he kept in touch with me until he went to Chicago. And he was head of that, Kellogg. So I'm saying, and then he became INSEAD. These are people who are mobile. But he's a Marwari. Where you see Marwaris becoming professors? Have you seen? Very few. How many professors are Marwaris here? Then you are asking that Marwaris can't be a professor. Here's an example. He became professor, dean and principal. So there's no stereotype. Don't get stuck. It's a very good question. I do not have a real formula answer for this. But I think we should all try and be competitive because that's the way of the world. Is competition good? It is not good. Go to an ashram and relax then, So if you want to be in the real world, you have to compete, just like cricket, the Olympics was over, that's competition, right? So you are in the Olympics of a job. And that Olympics of a job means you should get better at your work, and then you'll find your way, for sure. Okay?
To my heart, one is about agriculture. I'm a faculty of Department of Economics, and my current course of teaching is agroeconomics and innovative agriculture. And you have mentioned about Balipara. I am from Tejpur, and my entire maternal family has been associated with the Balipara tea estate. So it's not a question, it is a request that I would like to take some of my handful economic students to Wild Mahashir, because as far as I know, it's a very expensive one. So would you kindly allow me to take some of my students to Wild Mahashir for a visit and see that how Green Forest has brought a change in that particular area?
Be our guests there. You don't have to pay, so don't worry about the money.
Sir. Okay, sir.
So I think I'm inviting the whole faculty and the whole of Royal Global in phases to come and actually work with us. You know what we did was, just because of this point that you're making, ma'am, and I think I'm grateful that you are from Tezpur and you're appreciative of agriculture and agroeconomics, which is very important subject close to my heart. You won't believe it, Royal Global, Guwahati University, Tezpur University have not really come to us.
Okay.
But who has come? Harvard University, Wharton, Pennsylvania, Columbia. They send their students to work with us for 4 weeks. Cambridge University, they send, and we certify them and send them. We don't publicize it. We are not in the business of publicity because we don't want to do it. It's not my money venture. My money venture is to make money out of tourism, not out of this. But suddenly we found that people want to come and work with us. We can't teach, but we learn a lot. Their questions is like that young boy's question. It's a tough question. These tough questions are always difficult and you get nervous with tough questions. So they come and ask us in Wharton, but they firstly knew land, knew this. There was a guy called Harry Badale. He came and stayed 6 weeks, and the elephants came to his house. So you think of that experience, and that guy is the #1 banker in New York somewhere. So we've got a great alumni Sunday from this. What we've decided to do, and I think we can talk to Royal, I'm the chairman of TERI. I'm the chairman of TERI, meaning of TERI Northeast. I'm the chairman of TERI TERI Global advisory boards, both. I don't take the real thing nowadays, no time. Both of them, we have actually got a plot of land next to IIT for the innovation. That land we didn't get now, we got it in Mr. Tarun Gogoi's time. He saw that far with Pachori, he gave that land. So we are now wanting to build the Eastern Himalayan studies of culture, forestry, and economics based on that. And agroforestry is one of the subjects. So maybe we have a job for you actually, at the cost of the... No, we can work together, I'm just joking. But no girls are asking me questions. That's my favorite thing, and I'll do one last one for the girls. The lady has done it, no? Finally.
Greetings, sir, and greetings to everyone present here. My name is Anushka Sharma. Well, my question to you would be, how was your journey in the process of achieving success? Well, I might believe you have faced some hardship. So what's your mantra with dealing in a situation like that?
I'm saying hardship is, meaning it's so difficult. It's A, personal, and B, it's so difficult to understand hardship in this journey because everybody talks about good things, and as students you don't want to hear hardship, you want to hear what is a success formula. So I would rather delve on the success formula and tell you what is the positive scripting. Everybody has a balance sheet, negative and positive. So to do the negative is important, but when you go through it, but actually go into the mantra of what you want to do. I dare to dream, really, that book of mine, which I talk about, Oberoi, MS Oberoi, is something that actually inspired me to dare to dream and big. I built the first organized tourism in Kaziranga. Less people don't know. It's called Wild Grass. Now, I had a local partner, And that ended up in a mess, with my local partner. It's a pity. But I'm saying, well, that wild grass, when I started, and Tarun Gogoi was he was an MP. He came, and we brought the British High Commissioner. When I built it, my wife used to come, and we brought a lot of luggage, overweight in the plane, overweight hither. We had a broken car. So when we built Wild Grass, we were very proud of actually reinventing the tourism industry. It got reinvented because we wanted it to be naturenomics, but it did not be. I'm still a shareholder, but unfortunately I learned very early that if you do business with local people, you have to have everything writing and all is there. And the good thing is that forced me to build a house next to Wild Marshal. So if you all ever want to go to Kaziranga, come and stay in my house. Okay, thank you.